Hello everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Hi everyone, Pandora was just sitting here bugging me and complaining to me, telling me that she hasn't gotten to be in enough videos lately, so she wants some video time, so here's your video time. What do you got to say to the people? Yeah? Alright. So it was Pandora saying hello. Alright everybody, today is the day I finish recording everything album-wise for Van Halen. Now I'm covering 3 separate albums in this review, and you'll understand why really quick. And then there's one more album I have to cover afterwards, which will be a separate review, but you'll understand why. Alright, so this review, obviously you've clicked on it most likely, so you already know what we're talking about here. We're talking about Van Halen, Best of Volume 1. And we're also talking about the 2-disc Best of Both Worlds set. I'm also going to mention Right Here, Right Now. And the only reason I'm really going to mention Right Here, Right Now is mainly because there are 3 songs that are included on here, and it's a footnote in my history. Alright, so let's start with Right Here, Right Now. That was the live album released by Van Halen. It was from the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour. It was a double disc set, which was awesome. It was recorded over 2 days in May. If you watch the video version, theoretically, you get a actual pure version of what it was actually like. If you get the CD version or the recording, the album version, Sammy Hagar has said 100% flat out that the vocals on the Right Here, Right Now double album are all overdub vocals. He had to re-record the entire album. Also, he says that Alex and Eddie did play with stuff on there as well. So, if you want a pure version, go watch the video. The album is not a pure version of what Van Halen is like live. It gives you a rough idea. Now, really quickly, some mentions just out of here real fast. There is Ultra Bass, which is the Michael Anthony bass solo. Obviously, this is going to be the only spot you're going to find it. At the end of Pleasure Dome, you get the Alex Van Halen drum solo before it goes into Panama. Obviously, the only spot you're going to find that. Then you've got, they put One Way to Rock, the Sammy Hagar song. There's only one way. There's only one way to rock. You know, so Van Halen actually performed that and recorded on here, which is really cool. And then you got Give to Live off of Sammy's Never Say Goodbye album, which coincidentally was released during the run with Van Halen at the beginning. 5150 was released in 86. OU812 was released in 88. Sammy, if I remember correctly, was already working on the I Never Said Goodbye album. You know, basically his way of saying he never stopped going solo kind of thing. So I'm not 100% sure the full story on there. I've never read Sammy's book. I've read, bits and snippets and excerpts, watched interviews, stuff like that. But Give to Live, I'm not sure why they did this one. There's some other songs I think I would have rather have heard from Sammy if Van Halen was going to do it. But that's just me. Then you've got also a cover of Won't Get Fooled Again from The Who, so that was cool as well. And when it comes to songs that were recorded from David Lee Roth, there's not much representation on here. There's only 4 songs on here that are represented, one of which is the cover of You Really Got Me. They do Jump, they do Panama, and they do Ain't Talking About Love. Now, 2 of those Roth, actually all 3, sorry. Everything except for You Really Got Me. Okay? They actually have on here the 3 David Lee Roth songs that were on this that Sammy Hagar did the vocals for are on here, and I will get into that as I go. Okay, so I bought this when it first came out. Believe it or not, I have played the hell out of this album over the years. I absolutely love this album. I'm only talking about this album for 3 songs. I just picked up this one because I didn't realize that there were 3 brand new songs on here. I had to listen to those so I could review those. And then I'm going to also talk about the 3 songs that Sammy does, their David Lee Roth songs that were on there. Because the rest of them, as I've already said, they were basically right off the album. So except for Michael Anthony's bass solo, Alex Van Halen's drum solo, and then Van Halen doing 2 Sammy Hagar songs, the only other things really worth picking up and listening to that album would be to hear Sammy do 3 David Lee Roth songs. Okay. Let's go to Here First, okay? So Here First, we've got the first greatest hits they released. Volume 1. They had been intending clearly to do more volumes. They didn't. They then did double greatest hits. We'll get into that as I go. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is I don't care about all the songs they put on here, okay? They pack this thing full. Great songs. A lot of them are the single cuts to help save on space and jam more stuff in here. The only real complaint one can make is none of the covers are on this album. You don't get You Really Got Me after Eruption, which is kind of annoying, but that's it. So the 3 new songs. You got Humans Being, which wasn't technically a new song. It was available off the Twister soundtrack, exclusively on the Twister soundtrack until it went on here. There's a guitar solo on the Twister soundtrack as well, which I don't have the Twister soundtrack, so I don't have it, and I think I heard it once and I wasn't overly thrilled with it or something like that. I don't remember the whole situation. One day I'll pick up the Twister soundtrack and we'll see what happens. Then you got Can't Get This Stuff No More and Me Wise Magic. Now, Humans Being, technically, and at this point, at the point that this album was released, was the last Sammy Hagar song with Van Halen. Originally was the last Sammy Hagar song. I love Humans Being. To this day, Humans Being is still one of my actual favorite Van Halen songs. Like when it comes, overall, yes, when it comes to the Sammy Hagar era specifically, it is still one of my favorite songs. Interestingly though, the next 2 songs, Can't Get This Stuff No More and Me Wise Magic, especially Can't Get This Stuff No More, is one of my absolute favorite David Lee Roth songs. And these 2 were brand new songs recorded for this because it was thought that they were going to go out and do this big reunion and do all this thing and whatnot. And David got a little overexcited, got a little nutty, and things kind of fell apart. As per usual when it comes to David with Van Halen. Okay, so this album has 17 songs in total. The last 3 songs make up about 16 minutes of this album. The rest of it kind of fills the rest. I really dig this greatest hits. Like I said, I have overplayed the hell out of this greatest hits. I think it's fantastic. Now, that brings me into this one, Best of Both Worlds, 2-disc set. Now, the first thing I have to mention is the 3 new songs on here, Humans Being, Can't Get This Stuff No More, and Me Wise Magic, were all left off of this set. Instead, we got 3 brand new Sammy Hagar songs. You got It's About Time, Up for Breakfast, Learning to See. They were recorded brand new for this greatest hits. This is when the David Lee Roth thing fell through, and then they got back together with Sammy, and they went, or this was even after Gary Cherone, okay? So the original plan, from what I understand, is it was supposed to be 1 disc of Sammy, 1 disc of David. Once again, David's camp kind of dropped the ball a little bit. So they ended up putting it together the way that they did. They put more of the covers into this one. Obviously, they have 2 discs, more space, right? And it was less about doing the single versions, which is also good. the 3 new songs, It's About Time, Up for Breakfast, Learn to Fly. The first problem with It's About Time is they have Eruption as track 1, and it goes into It's About Time. That does not flow right. Does not flow right at all. It's jarring. It's bad. I don't like it. It's About Time in general isn't a bad tune. I don't mind it. It's not anything major on my list. And Learning to See, another one. It's a good tune. Really enjoy it while the album's playing, but it's nothing major. I would not go out of my way to pick up this set just for those 3 songs. This one for the 3 songs? Yes. This one for the 3 songs? Sadly, no. Now, that being said, I said I would mention the 3 live songs. So you're talking about Ain't Talking About Love, Panama, and Jump. Which, if I remember correctly, all 3 are on here in their original versions. So you basically got the same songs on here twice in this case. Except for these are the live versions. Or kind of live versions. Sammy does Ain't Talking About Love awesome. I absolutely love the version of Ain't Talking About Love on here. I think it is fantastic. I really, really dig on it. Panama, he performs it well and he has fun with the crowd with it, but he doesn't do it. His range is different. His tone is different. Just unavoidable. And he's too good of a vocalist to downplay his vocals on here. And really kind of the same thing about Jump. Ain't Talking About Love, that actually, because of how crazy David's original performance is on there and how all over the place it kind of is, it really gives Sammy a chance to kind of hone in on it and really go with it and have some fun with it. Between these 2 sets, believe it or not, I would still suggest this one over this one. I do love how much more content there is on here, and it is really cool to have the variety. This is what I would put together as if you're never going to buy a Van Halen album, ever, you are never, ever going to buy a Van Halen album, all right, go pick this one up. If you own Van Halen albums, you don't have to own them all, but if you own Van Halen albums, this one's the one worth picking up. That's the way I see it. Overall, so going back to Right Here, Right Now, I wouldn't bother picking it up. If you notice, it's the one album I'm not showing on here because I actually don't own a copy of it. We used to listen to it all the time. If you're one of my regular viewers, you heard this when I was talking about Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power review. There was 4 of us. We're always in this frickin' beige shithole Ford Tempo. And if it, and I think, no, maybe it wasn't a Tempo. Anyway, whatever, it was a shithole car, one of those cheapy, defecty ones. Anyways, I got it from point A to point B, and it had a stereo. Right Here, Right Now is one of those albums we listened to pretty regularly back then as we were in the car. Usually I would be the one that would suggest that we'd put it on. It wasn't my album, it was my buddy's album at the time. We'd put it on usually once a week just to give it a play, maybe once every 2 weeks to give it a play, just for something that wasn't insanely heavy but allowed us to have a little fun and let go, you know. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm ever going to honestly pick up the Right Here, Right Now album. It's not worth it to me. If I do pick it up, it'll be because I'm specifically going to do a segment on live albums, which eventually I'm going to do because there are some live albums where I really do need to really honestly sit down and talk about them and get into them. Anyways, folks, that's it. I'm done with this review. This one rambled on a little bit long. Sorry. Let me know what you think. Comments below. What did you think of Sammy's 3 new songs? Were they cool? What do you think of the 3 tracks that were on here? Do you like them as much as I did? I've already emotionally blackmailed you with kitty footage at the beginning to hit that like button, but I'm going to say it again. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell for notifications. There is a link that goes down to Patreon. If you are on Rumble, there is the follow and join button. If you are on Locals, you're not watching this video here as of when I posted this. All right, folks. Peace. Love. Take care.